Hi, it's Anna. Welcome back. And this is my Q2 wrap up. I watched my Q1 wrap up and I already feel like I'm more comfortable on camera. I feel like there have been some pretty significant changes. I have my handy dandy laptop here and I'm interested to look at where I've come in these past 3 months with most of my social media accounts. Not all of them. I cannot say I'm necessarily proud or good at all of them. But of course, very first, we gotta talk about the books. In these past 3 months, I have read 47 books, which is 6 books less than the first quarter of the year. But I was kind of expecting this because June was just extremely busy for me. I don't think it's my lowest reading month of the year, but I just still felt really overwhelmed in the month of June specifically. And I'm kind of glad June is over now since I'm filming this on July 1st. So I'm just kind of glad that month is over, even though it was a really good month. I've read 7,772 more pages this quarter. I read 7,716 pages the first quarter, so right around on track. Audiobook hours, I listened to 312 audiobook hours in Q1, and this quarter I listened to 268, which makes sense because I was doing more where, one, I couldn't necessarily read all the time via audiobooks, and the pages I guess kind of surprised me, but maybe I was just reading smaller pages than compared to Q1. I don't know. I definitely think those are interesting to see. So in terms of books by month, January is still my best month. Will January remain my best month? I don't really know. I don't know what was special about January besides maybe just not having as much work to do. And now that I've been at my job for 10 months, I am, not sure exactly what the rest of the year is going to look like for reading since I am getting more responsibility. And January, I feel like I was still so new to my job. I didn't have as many responsibilities. However, we did have the most pages read in April, even though we read 19 books. So reading just longer books in April, which makes sense. I feel like 19 books is still a ton of books to be reading. So I'm curious to see that February is my worst month still because now that June is over, I've read 14 books, but in the past 2 days, I've finished 2 audiobooks. This was going to be my worst month until some plans changed with work and I was able to listen to more audiobooks. We were close to June being the worst month of the year, but I can't see any month of the year being worse than February unless something like really big happens. In terms of rating, so I think this is interesting. The average of my rating has gone down. So last quarter, my average rating was a 4.02. Now I'm at a 3.93. I am generally a nice rater, but I feel like there have just been some books that I've really not liked over the past 3 months. I feel like more so than the books I didn't like in Q1. I don't know if it's because I'm giving more into trends and trying to keep up with reading trending books and not exactly reading everything I want to read, or if books I thought I would like when I was younger, I actually don't like now. I just think it's really interesting because I usually feel like I know my taste in books pretty well, or I'm just pretty generous, but I don't know. I feel like I've been less generous over the past few months, but once we get to the month by month breakdown, we'll see. Not shocking, I think the most format for books I've read is audiobooks, but the ebook number has increased significantly. I'm pretty proud of myself. And something that I think is going to change the game is my husband and I have talked about this extensively, and I believe for the upcoming Prime Day, we're going to try to get a Kindle. And so that'll be really interesting to see how that changes what my reading format looks like. I still think audiobooks are always just gonna be at the top. I always like to have something on in the background while I'm doing something. So I don't think those are gonna go down, but I'm curious if my ebook amount will pass my physical hardcover amount. That would be really interesting to see. In terms of the graphs, again, the colors aren't perfect. I've read less new releases. I haven't reread a book yet, and that's something I really wanna do in this quarter is reread a book. We'll see if that graph changes. But the main graphs that I'm really interested in is looking at more reading diversely. Now that it's been half a year, I'm really starting to think about being more intentional with what I read next year. And in terms of reading from BIPOC authors, 33% of my books have been from BIPOC authors, which I think is really good for me as somebody who wasn't tracking their reading before. And now that I have numbers to quantify how many books by BIPOC authors I've read, I feel like it'll be really easy to set goals next year or even during the last quarter of this year, whatnot. I also think the author gender, this doesn't really surprise me. I usually read books written by females. I have, read outside of that realm, but I think that's something I'm really gonna have to break. And I don't know exactly how I'm going to break it, just because I feel like a lot of the physical books I own are by females. So, and I don't want to go out and spend a bunch of money on new books. So I feel like having a Kindle and the audiobooks, I'm going to have to be more intentional. However, with queer characters, more than 50% of my books have had some type of queer representation, which that makes me really happy, I feel like you can't expect yourself to read perfectly diversely if you're just starting to look at your numbers, but I am happy that, the majority of my books do have some type of queer representation. I feel like that means I'm being a little bit more intentional with the books I pick with queer characters, and that authors are including queer characters more in their books. Okay, these are the graphs I'm actually most interested in, are these monthly graphs. This is my favorite part of the spreadsheet, and again, this is from Emma Skies on TikTok. I really love this spreadsheet. In April, Becoming a Queen was an arc. I loved Becoming a Queen, and On the Come Up is by Angie Thomas. Both of those were so good. I still think about both of those. Unfortunately, I also think about Alone with You in the Ether. I really thought that book sucked. I did not like that book at all, and I feel like that was one of the books, again, where trying to keep up with the trends you see, and I am right now in a place where it's like I do want to still expand, and I really don't look at what books are about before I read them. Maybe if I had done that, I wouldn't have read this book, but I am still glad that I tried it, and it's okay to not like a popular trendy book. It just was not for me. It's for somebody out there. That somebody is not me. As you can see, I also read 3 ebooks this month in April. That was pretty good of me. And again, my ratings is below a 4-star. Alone with You in the Ether, I think I read If We Were Villains in this month too. Didn't really like that one. April was definitely an interesting month. May, I think May was just a hard month. There were a lot of books that I felt just meh about in May. I feel like May was the worst combination of books that I've read and just kind of brought me down. And that was not good going into June. I did love Meet Me at the Lake. I thought that was so fantastic. But then I had like Holding Up the Universe. I did All the Bright Places, which was okay. I didn't read many ebooks. I just read one of them. I feel like that makes sense why my ratings went down. I just feel like it was overall like a meh month. And so with June, I feel like I was more intentional with picking up books that I wanted to read. The 2 5-star reads here are ebooks. That's awesome. I feel like that's so good leading up to getting a Kindle and finally figuring out ebooks that I like with arcs. And then my lowest rated was All the Dangerous Things, and I liked Stacey Williams' first book, A Flicker in the Dark. All the Dangerous Things was just so different. And then romantic comedy, if there was a book for me that could encompass the feeling of cringe, it was that book. Like that book, the whole time I was just like physically cringing. I also did read 3 ebooks this month. Pretty proud of that. Again, majority audiobooks, but overall I feel like June has kind of lifted back up my reading spirits, and I'm excited to get into July for reading and going into the future quarters. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the book-ish social medias, and definitely heavy on the book-ish for 2 of these. We're going to go from worst to best. I don't think this is surprising. My worst is Twitter. I still have 8 followers. I have had no growth. I just still do the same thing, and I haven't tried new things. But I was reflecting on it making this video. If I want to get better at a social media, I have to actively use it, learn it, study it. I feel like that is something that I could have inherently done when Twitter first came out if I was interested, but I wasn't. So now I have to go back and learn what's going to work on Twitter. And right now, what I'm doing isn't the best. However, do I think I'm gonna get rid of it? Probably not. I think I need to set more reasonable goals for myself for where I want to be with some other social medias. And then this sounds really bad, but then work less on the social medias that I'm good at and work harder on the social medias that I'm bad at to really learn all of them. Because I am doing all 4 of those social medias at the same time while working a full-time regular civilian job, while trying to read books and stay relevant in the bookish community. And I feel like that's a huge task that people can put on themselves. And again, this is supposed to be something for fun. So with Twitter for now, it's not hard for me to post my little 365 days of books with a picture. I'm already taking a picture for Instagram. The descriptions within the character limits aren't too hard. I think as long as I stay on and it's in the back of my mind, it's something I can work towards. Do I think I'm gonna work towards it this year? No, because I feel like TikTok will still be the main platform I wanna work on, but I think one day it is going to be something I want to get better at. So I still wanna keep it and work towards trying to be better at that specific form of social media. And then still the second worst, and this is less based on vibes now and more based on actual numbers, which I think is interesting, is Instagram. I was able to unlock some of the analytics features, but this sounds really bad. I don't care about looking at those as much as I care about the analytics on some of my other social medias. So I was so excited 3 months ago to reach 100 followers so I could look at the analytics. I've barely looked at them. And again, I think it's where do I want to put my energy? And I said this 3 months ago, I feel like I'm just better overall with video content, and that's where I want to put my energy and my effort and what's fun for me. I could one day do more reels or whatnot, but again, I don't think the focus for me for the rest of this year is necessarily going to be Instagram. I do eventually want to, follow more authors. I feel like a lot of authors do their announcements on Instagram. But again, same with Twitter. I don't scroll Instagram. I don't scroll Twitter. I'm on TikTok and YouTube most. So I feel like that is something that if I want to get better at it, I have to force myself to sit on the app and just get better at it. I feel like there's no way around it. And again, could I have inherently done that when I was younger, when these social media platforms were first coming up? I definitely could have, but now I didn't do that. So I have to put in the work and be more intentional with learning the platform. I feel like that's the biggest thing, is trying to learn each platform and not necessarily like buying something from a coach. Like maybe that's helpful for some people, but since I am doing this for fun, I don't know if I necessarily want to invest money into that right now. If I do want to get serious about a platform, I think there are people that can help, but I'd rather just try to see what I can do on my own, what works for me, and keep it fun, because this is not a job. I'm a regular person, but I'm just trying to have fun and be like, have an online presence. I've been thinking about more recently what I'm going to do overall with these accounts, what my bigger goals are. And again, I feel like I have bigger goals for YouTube and TikTok, but with Instagram and Twitter, it's really just fun to I like the idea of taking photos, and it's been a good time for me to do that. It's been somewhat relaxing. So I'm not going to stress myself too much with the followers on there. The two bigger platforms that I do want to work on are the two that I'm better at right now, are definitely YouTube and TikTok. But I might have done something. I don't know where my account is going to go now with what I accidentally did for both of these. So let me explain. On YouTube right now, I have 160 subscribers, which I think is fantastic, because 3 months ago, I had 65. So I've gained 95 subscribers in the past 90 days. That's almost a subscriber a day, and I feel like that's pretty good. I feel like the views on my video, yes, they're not like hundreds or whatnot, but I'm proud that they're in double digits. I haven't had a video under the double digits in, it looks like, about 2 months. And I feel like that's really good for me, especially because I don't really talk about YouTube to anybody in my real life. I'm not the best at promoting it. So I'm just doing my thing, having fun, making my videos, right? Where I potentially messed up. And I think this really speaks, at least to me, for what can help like the average person go more viral, you can say, is with my YouTube shorts. Oh my goodness. I went to see Taylor Swift. Okay. I saw her Chicago night 1 and Chicago night 3. Chicago night 3, we were in the diamond section, 3 rows from the back of the stage. So I got some great video, like absolutely fantastic. Couldn't have expected anything better. I posted a clip on YouTube Shorts, and usually my YouTube Shorts get between, we're going to say like on average between like 50 to 200 for my 365 days of books. The first Taylor Swift video I posted got over 7,000 views. So I got more subscribers because of that, but I'm not necessarily strictly like a Taylor Swift content creator. I definitely think books has more longevity, and going to that Taylor Swift concert was expensive. My husband and I spent over $2,000 on the 2 tickets, and that was at the regular Capital One pre-sale amount because we got the VIP packages with it. And so my videos that cost me a lot of money to get are having the highest return. And while I feel like putting an effort in social media really helps, having some type of access, whether it's in money or materials, I feel like has really helped with my views. But now that makes me nervous, because then of course the best book talk video I have is a Colleen Hoover book, and that's also not an author I necessarily like. I don't know. I might have messed up a little bit, because I don't know, with those subscribers that came from those Taylor Swift videos, when I don't post as much Taylor Swift content on YouTube, are they going to stay? Are they going to leave? I feel like there's a lot of overlap between the Taylor Swift and the bookish girlies, but who knows? Not me. I don't know. maybe they'll stay for my stunning personality, but maybe not. It is something that I do have a concern with. But with, again, my videos overall getting in the double digits for views, I feel like maybe more people will stay because of the content I make. I don't really know. So again, could I have messed up? Yeah, I could have. But also, I do want this to be a place not only where I talk about books, but where I am able to talk about my life, and Taylor Swift is a really big part of my life. So we'll just have to see how this plays out. I think because of the Taylor Swift concert, it's definitely affected my growth on YouTube, and I don't know if I'll ever grow this much again in a quarter unless one of my videos happens to go crazy viral, if it's super creative, if I start talking about it more. But I'm not tying myself down to anything right now. In terms of the specific analytics, because I do really like YouTube analytics, over the last 90 days, you can see there was like a little spike in April, which makes me, kind of happy. But then after June, once I started posting Taylor Swift clips and everything, that's when, more views have come up. So that's why I'm thinking this will kind of be my peak again, unless something goes viral, which I'm fine with. I've had 52,000 views over the past 90 days, which the previous 90 days I had 20,000 views. I've had 266 hours of watch time. Last quarter it was 113, so that's over doubled. And then for subscribers, again, I've gained quite a few subscribers over the past 3 months. Again, I do think it's due to my Taylor Swift content, but hopefully the Taylor Swift folks that I'm pulling in also like books, and then we can stay and have a good time and talk about all the books that we all love to talk about. That's kind of the goal. Or maybe I, learn to share more about my personal life. I don't know exactly what I want to do with this information, but it'll be interesting to compare because I only have like 2 more concert clips that I plan to post for YouTube Shorts. We'll see how those do. And what's really funny with YouTube, I still have a personal account where I watch some of my other videos where I'm subscribed to people that aren't necessarily bookish content, right? And it's funny because my father, he wanted to watch some of my Taylor Swift content on the big TV at their house. So I posted it to YouTube, and I didn't really think twice about posting, and these are like full songs, fuller concert clips. Wasn't really expecting anything. And I mean, the surprise songs from night 1 have 387 views. Bad Blood from Chicago night 1 has 212. Those have gotten more views than my bookish content videos, which is fine. I just posted them so my dad could watch them on the big screen. But again, I feel like there are probably more Taylor Swift fans than there are strictly bookish fans, so that might be why. But I just thought it was so funny because I didn't post them with any hashtag, didn't put any thought behind them, just posted my concert videos. So am I gonna do that? I mean, I don't know. It's probably a little late to do that now, but I just think it's something interesting in comparison to posting just bookish content to now showing more of my life and experiences, really showing more Taylor Swift, and that's what's gained some traction. So I don't fully know what to do with that information. I just thought it was an interesting phenomenon. And then lastly, as always lately has been, my best platform is TikTok. It's the one that I've had the longest, meaning I started TikTok October 20th of 2022, and then all the other social medias I started January 1st. So I haven't had it like that much longer, but I do have the most followers there, and I feel like the most interaction, and I feel like the most community is on TikTok right now. I do need to get better, I feel like, with community overall on my other platforms, but I feel like I know TikTok the best and how to work it, and I feel like I have, again, a similar idea of what does well on TikTok that can maybe last me beyond this quarter moving into the future ones. So last quarter I was at 2,376 followers. I'm now at, I'm gonna say 2,993, because as I was prepping this video, I lost 2 followers and gained 1. It's so fickle with the followers on TikTok. So if you go to my TikTok after this video and it's a different number, I literally don't know what to tell you. I'm trying to be as accurate with the numbers as possible, but the most fickle place I feel like followers are is TikTok, which is fine. In terms of likes, last quarter I had a total of 96,000 likes, and now I'm at 145,000 likes, which I feel like is pretty cool. We're over 100,000. It's not really a goal that I had before, and it's a goal that I have now to try to, get above 150K likes and this and that. So that makes me really excited to, just see what's gonna come forward over the next few months with likes. I will say, similar with YouTube, might have messed up just a little bit in terms of what content I post. My highest view video is still that 1 to 3 year TBR post, and and last quarter it was at a total of 251,000 views, and now it's at 320,000 views. So there's still been 70,000 views just for that video since last quarter. And to me, that shows more of what this slow burn TikTok kind of looks like, where you might not go viral instantly, but you can still get traction over time. And another really good example of that is I have a review, and I didn't really talk about it last quarter because I don't think it had as much traction, but I've been seeing more traction with it this quarter because I posted a review of Red, White, and Royal Blue, and currently it has 87,000 views. It's still getting views. I think last week it was like 80,000. People are still watching it. I posted that in November. I didn't think TikTok's pushed out videos that were that old, but this is a video that is still being pushed out even though it's pretty old. I mean, you can tell in this little screenshot here, like I don't even have the colored bookshelves. It's just my regular brown one, so it's definitely an older video. I have had two other book talk ones specifically that have gone over 10,000 views. Overall, I feel like my views are typically in the 200 to 300s. I'm not surprised anymore if a video gets to 1,000. Typically when it's above 10,000, that's when I start reflecting on what I did with the video and how I can bring that into other videos in the future. So I have one video that has over 20,000 views. I'm interacting with a filter. I'm guessing what the book titles are. And I think what gained a lot of traction in this video is I guessed a book title wrong, and I said I never heard what this book was, and fans of that book started telling me what the book was about. My naivety there kind of helped me. And then I stitched a video of someone dressing up in like 2010 core, and I compared it to the character B. Königswasser in Love on the Brain, which is a fairly popular book talk book. And this video has resonated with a lot of people. In the comments, we're talking a lot about how the outfits were cringy. Skip the outfit descriptions if you're reading the book. She has a new book out, Allie Hazelwood, called Love Theoretically, and I've asked some questions about that because of these comments, and that video is at over 60,000 views. The majority of these videos are me just talking. I think working with the trending videos keeps me consistent, keeps TikTok pushing out my videos, but I really love that the majority of my videos that have been pushed out or gone viral have been me talking. And speaking of that, once again, this all started because there was a sound that I heard on my For You page talking about how I would go to war for Taylor Swift. So I made this little TikTok here.
But I'll say one thing, I'll love Taylor Swift to the day I die, and I would put on armor and follow her into battle.
And someone commented asking if they could see my entire CD collection. I have a lot of CDs. I decided to make a video a little over 2 minutes long, and that video is at 87,000 views. And I feel like the amount of time that people have watched is surprisingly longer than I thought it would be. The analytics for this one specifically, I think, are very interesting, so I'll post some screenshots here. But this is where I have gotten a lot of followers from, is from showing off all of my merch. This is not sustainable, right? I can't keep just showing my merch again and again and again. I can't do the haul over and over and over. It's kind of like a one and done deal. And I'm not gonna buy as much excessive Taylor Swift stuff because she's just not coming out with as much. She has Speak Now Taylor's version coming out, of course, but that's not gonna really add a ton to my collection because, for example, the biggest section of my collection is Folklore, where she had 8 variants for the CDs and the vinyls. That really helped boost my collection. Midnight has 4. Speak Now just doesn't have as much like different variants as past eras. I feel like a lot of people followed me for that. Again, I hope there's overlap between the book girlies and the Taylor Swift girlies. I do still plan to do some Taylor Swift videos, but not like this again. I did make one showing all of the clothing merch that I had. That one didn't do as well as the video one. It still has a respectable amount of views in my opinion. I think it's around a little over 7,000 views, but again, it's not really sustainable. What I do see in terms of, right, what is going viral is what's relatable. Again, excess, because I do have an excess of those Taylor Swift CDs. That's what caught people's eye, and the excess of clothing as well. And even I think excess of knowledge that people have, being able to make connections when you see a video to, oh, this reminds me of a book character, and making something like that, or thinking about books and having in-depth opinions. I think people really appreciate that. So I think overall access does really well. I feel like you can't do as much access with trending videos, but I still love making those. I just think the trends are fun. I'm not gonna have them go away. And I'm gonna just keep doing what I'm doing. The videos of like Taylor Swift concert clips that I posted on my TikTok surprisingly didn't do as well as they did on YouTube. I'll post the views between my Bad Blood clip, which was the first one I posted on YouTube, and the first concert clip I posted on TikTok, and the views are starkly different between the two. I like the trending videos just because it allows me to post 4 times a day, and I think having a large backlog of content specifically helps on TikTok, and I think eventually it'll help on YouTube as well. So I like just having the amount of content that people can scroll through, but I'm starting to get to a point where I don't fully know if I can sustain that level of content creation. And I feel like I need to pick a point, even whether it's an amount of followers, whether it's a specific day over the next quarter, where I stop posting 4 times a day, because I posted 4 times every day over the past 90 days. So over 350 videos have been posted to my TikTok over the past 90 days. And I just don't know how long sustainably I can keep doing that. Right now it's still fun, but if I can't find trending audios, I can only do book reviews so fast. You know, I can only think of so many topics to talk about so fast. So that'll be really interesting to see at what point I kind of cut myself off from 4 times a day. And it might be just for the rest of the year I post 4 times a day and see where I'm at. I told myself once I hit 3,000 followers, I would only post 3 times a day, but I don't know if I necessarily want to do that anymore. I don't know. So I feel like that's something that I just personally need to rethink. And as you can see throughout this video, I've just been using my laptop. I haven't pulled out my phone like the last one. I have most of the screenshots on here. The only screenshot I don't have is the total numbers of views using my hashtag on TikTok, Anna G Writes and Reads. And last quarter, I had a total of 761,800 views. And again, I made that hashtag mid-December. So that's pretty much all the views I have for, let's say, the first quarter of the year. Those were the majority of the views. Now I believe that the hashtag is at 1.2 million, which again, super exciting. Now I feel like the views goals, right, trying to hit 1.5 million, 2 million, it's just something where when I do tell people in my real life, they think, oh, you just have this little account, blah, blah, blah. But then you show some of the numbers and I mean, people are impressed and I feel like my hard work is almost rewarded in that sense. I'll have to put a screenshot of what it is. If it's past 1.2 million, I can't see it being higher than 1.3 million. It might be 1. I don't know. We'll see. Overall, I think going into this next quarter, I have to prepare myself for the come down of not having Taylor Swift content to post, specifically on YouTube. And I feel like I really have to reflect this quarter of, you know, it's summer, how much am I posting? I am still traveling this summer. And then also, I don't want to focus on posting the entire time. I still want to focus on the reading. I feel like once my reading starts to suffer, that's when I feel like I really want to step away more from being as consistent with social media. But I feel like my favorite things to make are the YouTube videos and the TikTok videos. I do still have fun making those. Sometimes it's just nice to have, you know, a little creative outlet that way. I have written a book before. I would maybe love to spend more time writing again, but with the amount of time I put into social media right now, I can't really do that. I've just been jotting down book ideas and maybe that'll be something I do the last quarter of the year. I don't know. I am overall really close to my book goal of reading 104 books this year, and I don't know what's gonna happen when I hit that, if I will still have the motivation to read. I feel like I haven't been motivated by a goal to read. I feel like it's just been wanting to read books that I've been motivated, but I don't know if something in my mind will change. Those are my honest analytics and my honest thoughts regarding social media. I am, you know, just like your average 27-year-old, I guess. Nothing, you know, remotely viral or anything like that, just doing this for fun. I'll be interested to see where my next quarter analytics are. Again, this maybe is pessimistic. Maybe I shouldn't even have this mindset, but I'm preparing myself to not have as drastic of growth on any of my platforms as I did when I was posting the Taylor Swift content. I do still expect some growth. I don't expect anything on Twitter, but like TikTok, by next quarter, if I don't have 3,000 followers by next quarter, I am clearly doing something wrong on TikTok, because as of right now, you know, I'm only like 7 or 6 followers away from 3,000. I should be able to get 7 or 6 followers in 3 months by posting as much as I do. And then with YouTube, I should be able to also get 5 or 6 more followers in the next 3 months. So again, some growth, but I don't expect as drastic growth as I've had this month. This was a fun little analytics book-ish video. My next videos will definitely be more book heavy, and eventually I want to go over all of the surprise songs that Taylor Swift has done and compare them to books. That'll be a really long video one day. I also want to compare some other shows to books that I've read or movies to books. So hopefully a lot of diverse content coming through here, and I will check in with you all in another 3 months and kind of see where we are. I have no idea what's going to happen. If there are also any videos that you specifically want to see, just let me know, because no one suggested an idea yet, but I'm happy to take any ideas that are reasonable, of course.